Right, I'm recording now. Right, okay. Right, so we've covered the last part. Okay, what's the next screen? Right, yeah, so yeah, this is kind of going on in terms of the safety side of things. So data breaches, I don't want to sound flippant. On one level, data breaches don't matter if it's your address, your phone number, stuff like that. They're kind of like, you know, it's basically, you know, because scammers want low hanging fruit. They're going to go for the people that are going to fall for the tricks that they use, because they can't do anything unless they somehow trick you into revealing information. So if you don't say a word, if you don't click on a link, they can't take it to the next level. So although psychologically it's concerning that, oh, someone's got my name, someone's got my address, the chances of, you know, the most extreme example, you know, some kind of physical assault or burglary, it's just extremely slim. And even if it was to go in that direction, it's going to be the big players, you know, not people like us that, generally speaking, don't even own a whole Bitcoin. So, you know, they're going to go for the, you know, the original, the original adopters who were able to buy a Bitcoin for like £100 or 1p, etc. So, we don't have anything. So the effort that will be involved to try and extract Bitcoin for people like us is, it's not cost effective unless they're using the easy method. So that's basically what's here. So, and the way that people trick you is they try and play in your fear by trying to blackmail you, greed by offering something that's too good to be true, as I mentioned earlier, and impatience. So impatience in the sense that they might send you something that creates a sense of urgency. So the people that hacked Ledger might pretend to be Ledger and say, oh, click this now, give us your key now to protect your Bitcoin. And then, instead of pausing and thinking, okay, what's going on here, you end up doing something on impulse, and then you make yourself vulnerable. So that's what I'm referring to on here. And I just made a brief mention of GDPR in the sense that, because we live in Europe, UK, although I don't know if it works with Ledger, but I don't see why, if you're concerned about your data being with any organization, we do have the power of saying, can you please delete any information you have about me? There's nothing stopping you from doing that. And if there is a concern about buying from Ledger at the moment, as mentioned, the breach took place in the summer. I imagine they would have resolved that by now. And you do have the option of telling them to delete any information that they've got about you. Or, and I do have a document with a link, you could, sometimes I say buy directly from Ledger. You could maybe buy from Amazon, but I've got a link where I think that's actually Ledger's Amazon store, if you see what I mean. So you're still buying it from Ledger. There's different ways of doing it. It's all about trying to manage the risk. But I would still be inclined to buy it directly from Ledger, though. Although I did buy mine via Amazon, so it was fulfilled by Amazon. My gut would still be to go directly to Ledger if you're going to buy yourself a Ledger Nano. Any questions at this stage, by the way?
No, I mean, that's fine.
Okay. Right. So from this point, to be honest, I'm going over what I went over before. So from the last meeting, you know about it, because it's just me talking about why I believe in Bitcoin. So I think you both know this side of things already, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would. Yeah. So it's basically just talking about M-Pesa and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that kind of covers everything that I wanted to cover today, to be honest, unless someone has any questions.
So I've seen the two Ledger Nanos that you're talking about. So one on Amazon, the S and then the X. So I don't think I need the X at the moment. Would you advise still buying it from Amazon? Either of the two of them?
personally, I'm not worried about the data breach in terms of addresses, etc. So I would, if I was buying now, I would buy directly from Ledger because it took place in June. I'd be surprised if they haven't taken precautions. It's a bit like, you know, I don't know if it's a good analogy. If someone gets burgled, what do? They the day after they get all the locks that they should have had beforehand. So in a sense, their house is more secure than someone who's never been burgled. So my mindset is a company like Ledger, they're not going to want their reputation to be sullied any more than it needs to be. I can imagine them taking lots of precautions between, even though they kept quiet about it, which wasn't good. I can imagine a lot of precautions being taken since then, between then and now. And like I said, you can tell them, you know, once you've bought it, you can say, please delete my information. And they're legally obliged to do that because of GDPR.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, this is just stuff we've got over before. So yeah, actually no, Rex, you weren't in the last meeting, were you?
I was not.
Right. I'll just quickly say this for your benefit then, because I might not have spoken to you about this before. It's M-Pesa you know about already. I've told you, haven't I?
Yes.
Yeah, so you know about that. Right. So this, okay, I think everyone in this room has a Ghanaian connection, don't we? Yeah, okay. So, right. It's like one of the things that blew my mind about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency was, you know, I think people will click in the developing world quicker than we will here. And because once they understand how blockchain works, they're going to say, of course, we need this. And one of the uses for blockchain technology is irrefutable proof that information is genuine and irrefutable proof that information cannot be tampered with. And blockchain technology can be used to prove that a piece of land belongs to you. Once it's there, no dodgy official has the ability to tamper with it because of the way that blockchain works. If someone tries to tamper with the information in that blockchain, it's going to be refused. So, you know, that's one of the things that, you know, that was one of the things that was an aha moment. And the same would apply to property. So property when you're buying and selling houses, and the same could apply to vehicles as well. It's, you know, it's irrefutable. You don't have to do a HPI check. This car does belong to the person that I'm buying it from. So that's some of the things that I went over in the last meeting. Yeah. I'll just quickly skim just in case there's anything else that might be useful to you, Rex. This one was kind of explaining why the price of Bitcoin is so volatile, because the Bitcoin market is so tiny. So if we all compare it to Forex, which we're all involved in one way or another, we all know that the banks literally have to shift billions to move the currency up and down. But in the world of crypto, because it's such a smaller market, a relatively small player can influence the price of Bitcoin, and that's why it's so valuable. So volatile. It doesn't take that much to move the price up or down because it's still immature. As the crypto market gets bigger and matures in size, it's going to get less and less volatile over time, and the swings won't be as extreme. And even already, although it's gone up a lot in price compared to the early days of Bitcoin, when there was volatility, it was much more, relatively speaking, than it is now. What else was I talking about? I was also saying about the number of millionaires in the world, 21 Bitcoin altogether. So if every millionaire in the world wanted to buy a single Bitcoin, it literally wouldn't be possible. So I was going into that, and I'm just going to skim over it because I don't want to keep you too long. Another thing is with Bitcoin being so valuable already, i.e. $27,000, For the person coming in, it's hard to get your head around it in the sense that it creates FOMO because you think, oh, how am I going to get a single Bitcoin? It's too much. It's too late. And then people make emotional decisions trying to get their hands on Bitcoin. But if you think in terms of Satoshis, then I think it's easier to get your head around. So you don't have to think, I need to get a Bitcoin. Just to have a fraction of a Bitcoin, then you've got skin in the game. One Bitcoin is literally 100 million Satoshis. So even if you have a fraction of a Bitcoin, you're doing okay. So as it says here, if you were to get 0.28 of a Bitcoin, that alone puts you in the top 1% of people that own Bitcoin. So that's what that's about there. Let me skim. I think you both know about dollar cost averaging, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't need to go over that. Yeah, I think this is where we are at the moment. We're in euphoria when it comes to Bitcoin. So, and that's why I'm not buying any at the moment, because I know what's coming next. So yeah, yeah, so this is the dollar cost averaging. This is just telling people that there's literally over 4,000 altcoins. I tend to say that there's a 3-tier system when it comes to cryptocurrency. You've got Bitcoin, you've got the pretty safe next tier, which is the top 10, Ethereum, etc. And then once you start going lower than that, higher risk, higher reward. So yeah, so one needs to be careful. And that basically covers it. Yeah, the rest you all know about me. So I don't really need to go into that. Yeah.
I was going to ask about where we think, so, you just pointed out that we're at a point of euphoria, Bitcoin is skyrocketing, it's very bullish.
Yeah.
It's happened before, back in 2017, and then there was a crazy dip.
Yeah.
So my question is, on the assumption that another dip is going to come again,
Yeah.
how far down do you reckon it's going to go this time? So what I'm effectively asking is, where do you have your alerts set for when you are going to buy a small Bitcoin?
Right. So as you probably know, I'm more of an investor than a trader. So I'm not an expert in the charts the way other people are. That's why I've joined AMI Finance, to become more of an expert in terms of weekly trading. So my mindset is more, it's still long-term investor. So based on what's happened in the past, even on a minor level, Bitcoin is guaranteed to dip 5-10%. There's no, it's just not possible for it to keep going up. It's going to have what's the trading term again? It's going to have drawdowns. That's guaranteed. 5-10% drawdowns is going to happen. So even as a non-expert trader, if I see a 5-10% dip, I will buy a small amount. But in terms of historically, whenever it's gone up this much, it's always retraced 30% to, I think 30 to 40% is the sweet spot where it's always gone that far when there's been a reversal after a massive a really quick rise. And then sometimes over time, when it's gone like this, it does retrace 70, 80, 90%. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't see it retracing 90% ever again, but I would say retracing 30-40% is guaranteed. The question is, when does it retrace 30-40%? If you see what I mean, because if it's not ready to reverse yet, a 30-40% reversal could be a 30-40% reversal from 30-35k. You see what I mean? So you might still end up paying more. But for me to feel comfortable with what I'm doing, I'd still, even though I'm struggling not to buy some and I've got my hands behind my back, I'd still personally rather wait for it to go, for it to reverse. And when I see some kind of reversal pattern, then I will buy some. And again, like as I've said before, I don't buy large amounts. I just buy small amounts, because even if it goes down 10%, it might go down again, and I have a limited budget. I'd like the option of buying it when it goes further than that as well. So that's kind of like more my investor mindset. if there was anyone here. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, Theo, you don't have any Bitcoin, do you?
No, I don't have any now
Yeah.
that I'm trying to invest in it anyway.
Okay, so for you, if you're like your money's burning a hole in your pocket, I would say if you just have to, you can't stop yourself. I would say whatever your budget is, and like I said, this is not financial advice, but whatever your budget is, I would say split it into 10 or 12, and maybe put in 10% of your budget, and then just buy at whatever the price is now, and then you could use the dollar cost averaging mindset. So even though it's high, it could go up again, but it's going to go down. But if you split it, you take away a lot of the emotion associated with investing a large chunk at once. And it's and that peace of mind is priceless, because like I said, when I first got into it, relative to my disposable income, I put in large chunks, and there was a lot of stress associated with that. But once I learned my lesson, after the massive dip in 2017, early 2018, I only ever bought in very small amounts after that, and that's actually what saved me. That method of dollar cost averaging is what meant that I was okay some time ago. Because if I hadn't dollar cost averaged after 2017, early 2018, I literally wouldn't have broken even until this autumn. Yeah, that would have been when I would have broken even. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean at the moment I've just got to make the decision whether I'm going to buy from Coinbase Pro or Binance, and then just take your advice and split the budget I have into 10 chunks, and then just use one and buy.
Yeah, 10 or 12 chunks, yeah. But I'd also say, I mean, okay, we're all in the academy. My mindset now is the academy is going to teach me how to trade properly, and I'm going to use the academy to trade Bitcoin or trade in Forex to increase my Forex account, and I'll be using a chunk of that to buy more Bitcoin. That's the approach that I'm going to be using. Yeah.
Do you have an end goal with all the Bitcoin that you will amass? This is a bit of a personal question, because obviously we can hold this to thy kingdom come, and like Des is putting on the chats that, Bitcoin is going to go to 100K. What is the point at which, let me convert this back to GBP and buy some houses or whatever it might be? What is your, what's your personal goal?
My personal goal? I have no interest in selling my Bitcoin. When I sell my Bitcoin, I sell it. I do one of two things. I either sell it and buy an altcoin that's gone down in value, with the aim of swapping that altcoin back to Bitcoin when that altcoin goes back in value. That's one thing I do. And then the second thing is, as the price goes up, because I have been selling thin slices of my Bitcoin as the price has been going up, waiting for an opportunity to then buy it back again. But I don't cash it out back into my normal bank account. I've got fiat money, pound sterling, in my Coinbase account, but I have no intention of withdrawing it, because it goes back to that old thing: don't invest what you can't afford to lose. So I do not use any money that is dependent on my bills, that my bills depend on. I don't use any money that I need to pay bills or anything like that. It's money that obviously I don't want to lose it, but I'm not dependent on any of that money, and that's gives me peace of mind. And going back to the academy that we're in, that's why now I'm thinking more and more about working harder within AMI Finance, because if I can build myself within that, again, that's money that's separate from my living expenses. And if I invest that, psychologically, I'm not going to feel pressure when I'm trading. there'll be a certain amount of detachment that makes it easier to make wise decisions. So yeah, so my answer is, and the reason why I have no intention of selling it is we're so early. Oh, where's that? I do have a thing somewhere about adoption. We're still in the early adopters phase, somewhere on this arc. We're nowhere near maturity because Bitcoin owners make up, I think, is just over 1% of the world's population. It's nothing, So when 100,000 estimation, that's one of the very low estimations. I try not to sound too, but if you YouTube it, people with much more experienced minds than me in terms of investment, they come up with much bigger figures than 100,000. So selling what I have, does not compute. So my mindset is, well, why would I sell it? Sell it to do, but to sell. No, the only circumstances where I would sell a chunk is, as you know, Rex, I have a target for this year. So I was talking about it with you earlier, so you know what I'm talking about. So I have a target for this year, but even that, I begrudge selling a fraction of my Bitcoin in order to do that. I would rather increase the fraction of a Bitcoin I have between now and the summer, and then use that for the thing I want to do this summer, rather than reduce the amount that I've got now. That's a very vague question, but it's a very vague answer. But yeah, so you wanted to know what's my target? Are you asking?
No. I mean, you've answered the question.
Yeah,
there is no target. We're just gonna keep this thing till thy kingdom come.
We are going to listen. We're going to learn from you, mate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because the reason, because you think about it, the last institutions are buying Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then they're taking it away.
Yeah.
That so it's because you would have missed the last one, Rex, because they what I said about the size of the market, the amount that they buy. What they used to do was buy in what's called over the counter. So they'll be hoovering up the Bitcoin, but because it was in it's kind of like exchanges for the rich and powerful, we didn't see the volume that was going on. And that helped keep the in my humble opinion, that helped to keep the price of Bitcoin relatively low, relatively stable. But because of the limited amount, now they have to buy where we buy our Bitcoin. And because of that, and because they're buying such large amounts, that's one of the things that's forcing the price up. So as far as I'm concerned, if they're buying it and they're taking it away from the shelves, a bit like toilet roll, if they're taking it away, then I'm thinking, well, I'm not gonna, I'm not getting rid of mine, because the original Bitcoin investors from, the first few years, they're not selling theirs, they're keeping theirs. They're relying on people like us who are prone to emotion, who will sell. They're relying on us. The original Bitcoin investors, they don't sell that. Obviously they sell a bit now and then, but so I have no intention of selling my very tiny fraction. Yeah.
Oh, but I'm not sure. There was a publication on the 3rd of December.
Yeah.
Which says Bitcoin arrives on Wall Street. Did you see that?
Not that particular one, but that's kind of what I'm saying. It's, the institutions are here now.
Yeah.
They're here now. They're the ones buying, they're buying more Bitcoin than's being mined now. They're here, so yeah, that tells me everything I need to know. So that's the bit that makes me nervous about, okay, should I be buying more? Is it never going to come back? So I'm struggling. But again, because we're in IMAcademy, we have the ability to make money from Bitcoin even if we don't have Bitcoin, don't we? Yeah. So we have more options. So on one level we can be a bit calm, but yeah, what I have now, I have no intention of selling it. my mindset is what methods can I use to increase the amount of Bitcoin that I have. And like I said, it's trading it with altcoins, which is the riskier strategy, but you know, I'm careful how I do it. Buying it on the dips and improving my forex skills so that I can, you know, get more fiat currency and use a chunk of that to buy more Bitcoin. That's basically my approach.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions or?
No, I mean, for me, it's just, you know, thanks for the advice or suggestion on splitting my budget into 10 or 12 chunks and buying them in chunks instead of using all of it in one go. That's brilliant.
That's crucial.
And then the place to buy, maybe going to Coinbase Pro and have a look at what is there, and then get the key. I've just looked at it on Amazon, just like Rex said, and it's there. So I've got to sort of invest some money in that, even though I might not get to the £100 yet. I just get a key and then wait, and then because if I'm going to buy small bits and pieces, then I can always download it and put it on the key. But I'll look at DCX as well on the Army Finance website and see what is there that I can learn from that. I haven't started my live trading because I'm new to Army Finance. I only started a couple of months ago.
Sorry, say that. Okay, you're okay.
I'll start my live trading next month anyway. So,
did I send you a link last time? Because if you use my Coinbase link, we both get a tenner. We both get $10.
Oh, send it again because I'll copy it. If we could send it again, that'll be brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just. I'll do that now. 1 second. Oh yeah. Okay. This link is similar to the one that I sent last time. It's just got a couple bit more information because it also talks about. 1 second. Where's the chat window?
You put it in a chat.
I'm trying to find the chat window. Where's it gone? Sorry, bear with me. Still not.
I get some juice from my MacBook, so I may jump out.
Okay, no problem.
Then
okay, Rex, I'll get in touch with you because I see on the website doing a lot of good things. So
good.
I might link up with you one day.
Absolutely, not a problem.